Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. I got some exciting news the other day from Kerry, my vintage iron 7512, about my motor. He got some parts in. So I'll just put a couple clips here, and I'm real excited to get this motor done.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper.
UPS came bearing gifts today, guys, for the 390 Ford. Actually, the 431 stroker Ford from Michael's engine. All right, there we go. Competition cams, very nice. Comes with basically everything you need, and I would recommend you do this when you're going to build one of these engines. The Teflon seals, we got the hardened spring retainers, the keepers that go with that. 10 degree is a more aggressive angle, and it's a lot better for a performance engine. This is our valve spring set that came with it, and these springs are matched perfectly to this cam, because when we do the heads, we're going to have to set up the spring height and all that, which is when we get into the cylinder head rebuilding, we'll talk more about that. As these lifters come in sets, because this is a roller cam, it has a hardened steel roller down here. The billet timing chain set, of course, we have our cam. Let's talk about this cam for a minute here. It'll have a fairly smooth idle. We like a little more exhaust duration for a torque engine. That gives us a little more, gives that exhaust port a little more push to it as far as getting the exhaust out, and it helps the low end torque. So this is definitely a good torque cam we've got. The camshaft always comes with a cam card. This is a forged steel competition cams FE390 cam, and we went ahead and went with a roller. We're going top notch with everything on this engine. Competition cams, they never disappoint. Their stuff is top notch. These are our pistons, and what we did on this is a lightweight stroker piston, and this is a coated skirt 390 FE Molle piston. We're going with all forged components. Now we went with the dish on this, and the reason we put the dish in this engine is because the way that we figured our compression ratio was with the heads that we're using. In order for this truck to be pump gas friendly, we really couldn't put a flat top in here. We're shooting for about 9.5 to 1 compression. One of the things that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get this rotating assembly balanced, and I'll talk to you about that here in a little bit. Another thing we have to do is we're going to have to mock up the engine, because we don't know where the deck height is, so we may have to end up decking this block to get our height right. Very rarely does a factory engine have the same deck height on every cylinder, so we may have to correct that on the milling machine, which is, I'm thinking we're going to have to. But as usual, this is a Molle dished forged piston. Again, top-notch quality. These guys never fail to impress me with their stuff. So, and we have real thin ring technology. These are the real thin rings. If you know anything about piston ring thickness, thin rings are much better. They're far superior to the thicker stuff we used to use. The supplier called me a couple days ago, and they said, hey, we're waiting on the connecting rods. I said, well, what do you mean you're waiting on them? I said, well, Scat's making them. They're making the rods for you. So we've got a really good quality stroker rod here. So this is our connecting rod that we're going to be using in the FE motor. It is an I-beam rod, but it's a Scat high performance forged connecting rod that's been completely prepped and ready to go. And of course it's a full floater, has the bushing up there. And so this is the jewel that we're going to be using for this 390. Really nice stuff. All right guys, so we got our crankshaft here from the 390 FE, and this is a Scat crank. It is a cast steel crank. Now keep in mind, we didn't go with a forged crank on this thing, and basically we really didn't need to for what we're doing here. Back in the 60s and 70s, the factory had a bunch of forged cranks from the factory. The reality is that these newer cranks that are made by Scat and some of these companies in the cast steel form are actually stronger than the factory forged cranks. They can handle more horsepower. The forging technology, the material is much more advanced than it used to be. So these cranks are capable of handling 500 plus horsepower without any problem at all.
Hope you enjoyed that. As usual, like, subscribe. Hopefully we'll have some more stuff to post soon. And thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.